For the last 13 years, I've been using Adobe After Effects raw. And if you're a beginner, I'm jealous because you have the opportunity to learn this from the beginning. In a moment, we will explore how ChatGPT can help us write expressions, which will save us time and allow our work to be more flexible and consistent, giving you precise control over a non-destructive workflow. Come on in, I'll show you. Put on those pads because we need some dynamic, easily adjustable padding between our two text layers. Now, we can manually keyframe this and give ourselves an aneurysm, or we can use expressions. If you're not familiar with expressions, they are basically snippets of code that let us change and control the layer properties. Expressions can be used to control values, simplify motion design workflows, and open up creative options. Let me show you. I'm asking ChatGPT to create this padding effect for me, and it not only gives me the expression, but step-by-step instructions on how to do it as well. So first thing I'm doing is creating the two text layers. They're both going to be left aligned, and I'm going to place them on the same y-axis. That way they're already lined up vertically. Now I'm creating a null layer, which is basically an empty layer, and we're going to be putting a slider effect on the control layer. You can do this by searching slider in effects. Now I'm pasting the expression code on the position of the first text layer. You do this by hitting Alt and then clicking on the stopwatch, and then you can paste in the text in this spot here. And now I like to lock the effect window so that way it stays displayed even when I'm on a different text layer. And then you pick whip the slider control. This allows us to control the padding amount. As you can see, it's working. No matter what we make the text value, it will be dynamic and adapt to the width of the text. As you can see, we have fluid animations without any keyframes. What's nice about this is we can change the text value, the scale, or the positioning, and it doesn't break the animation like it would with traditional keyframing. Let's get the party started in here. Let's see if ChatGPT can create a background for us in After Effects that strobes between different colors randomly. So I'm creating a solid layer and then putting a color content effect on it. And then I'm also putting a fill because that's the only way to control the color of the solid without going into the actual settings. And then we are going to paste this line of code inside the color value of the color control. And then we pick whip the expression color value to that color value in the color control. Before you or I preview this effect, I want to warn you that if you're susceptible to seizures, you should look away until I tell you to return in a few seconds. And we can see it is working great. The preview is over, you can look back at the screen. Now, I want to create this boomerang effect where my text bounces back and forth horizontally. I want complete control over how far out our text goes from its starting point. We will put a text layer here. I'm just going to put text here as the filler. And then another null layer, which is also going to have a slider control on it. This is basically the same process we did before, just with different code. Now the position is where we're going to put the expression. So you alt click on the stopwatch of the position layer, paste in that code, and then we're going to replace this block of code here by pick whipping the slider and the slider control. The reason we're doing this is because the name of the layer and effect could be different in the code than it is in the document, and we want to be able to rename that slider control and not lose or break the code. And here we go. We're able to control how far out this text goes horizontally, both positive and negative. That's great, but can we control the speed of our boomerang? Let's follow these steps and find out. And here's the updated code that gives us speed as well as distance. So I'm just duplicating that slider and renaming it speed. I'm going to set it to 0 for now, and then we're going to update the code, and we will pick whip both lines of code for distance and speed to the slider values of distance and speed. And now the speed is completely controlled by the speed slider. That's great, but I know what you're thinking. What if I want to control the rotation of the text at a specific speed during this animation? Don't worry, ChatGPT has us covered. All right, you know the process by now. Follow the instructions and copy the code. I'm going to duplicate the speed slider and name it rotation. Set it to 0 for now. And then in text, we're going to put the expression on the rotation value. So Alt, click the stopwatch, paste in the code, replace the highlighted text with the slider value of rotation. It's at 0 now, so we see no rotation, but if we were to increase this to say 25, it is starting to rotate. And now that's pretty slow, so we're gonna have to jack that up quite a bit to get fast rotation. And we're gonna increase it some more, put on some motion blur, and voila. And here we go, a fully dynamic boomerang effect where we can control the speed, distance, and rotation of our shape or text. I feel like this would look good on a star, so I'm just going to create a new star shape layer and copy the position and rotation keyframes from the text layer. And then I will paste it onto the star layer. Now we can disable the text. Maybe we turn on the motion blur. And here we go. This looks awesome. This workflow allows you as the creator to make as many tweaks as you need without breaking the entire animation, avoiding a huge mess. And with ChatGPT as our personal assistant, you don't need any experience writing expressions or code. Adobe does, however, provide us with a guide on how to use expressions, and I have that linked in the description below. This is just the beginning of how you can use AI to improve your workflow in Adobe. In this video here, I preview what we can do now and in the future using Adobe Firefly. If this video is useful to you, a like or subscription goes a long way, and I greatly appreciate it. Have a good day.